Welcome back. Another year, another sweep. Maybe. We'll see in game 4. The Nets lose this one by 5, 102-97, a game that they should have won, no doubt about it. I mean, everything was laid out there to win that game. You know, James Harden gets sent to the locker room with probably like 15, 16 minutes left in the game. And it probably wasn't a flagrant 2. It was probably a makeup call for what happened with Joel Embiid. It was a crazy game with the technicals, the ejections, the flagrants, and we'll go over that stuff. But the Nets had a 5-point lead with like 2 minutes, 15 seconds to go. They don't close it out. They had a possession down 3. Royce ONeill inbounds the ball, throws it to the wrong team, and the game is over. And just like that, you're down 3-0, and it should be 2-1 right now. There's no other way to say it. I mean, I still think the Sixers win the series, but it should be 2-1. There's just no excuses. That you can't make excuses about, oh, they don't have enough time together like that. That's over with. There's no reason for any group of NBA players to blow that game. You had Joel Embiid playing with 5 fouls for half the fourth quarter, playing on one leg. You still lose the game. It's inexcusable in every sense of the word. So just completely frustrating, and as I just tweeted this before, I said the amount of pain that the Nets have caused me and other loyal Nets fans the past 23 months should be illegal. I mean, it is so rough to root for this team. They have not won a playoff game since June 21st or something, June 21st or 20th of 2021. It's been a long-ass time. And once again, they're on their verge of being swept 2 years in a row and 3 times in the past 4 years. So we'll see what happens Saturday. I really have no interest in watching, but I probably will anyway. I did not watch one playoff game once back when the Nets played the Heat in 2014. I was like, they were down 3-0, so I was like, this is not worth watching. They actually won that game. But yeah, this is over, of course, and maybe they rest Embiid next game. Maybe there's a chance they win, but regardless, it's just, it's ridiculous. Anyway, we'll get into it. Lots to talk about. Leave a like, subscribe, all that stuff. And let's get into it. And that's one of the worst parts about this game. You have a hobbled Embiid. You have Harden, who looked like he hurt himself at one point in this game. And it's just like everything was going your way. And you had a chance to make it 2-1. You were a couple minutes away. And like, it could have been 2-1. Game 4 would have been very exciting. You know, once again, Embiid is probably hurt or he might have been out, whatever, and you would have had a chance. But now it's over. 3-0, 2-1 is a massive difference. I mean, no team's ever come back from a 3-0 deficit, and it ain't going to be this Nets team, I'll tell you that. They can play the rest of the series without Embiid, without Harden, probably without Maxey. The Nets are not winning this series. It's over. So, as I said, I mean, we'll start with what happened early on in the game. Of course, it was a big moment. Nick Claxton converts the alley-oop, and Embiid falls on the ground, which, by the way, I mean, the amount of times he's on the ground, I mean, he's playing the wrong sport. He might as well be a soccer player. It's insane how much that man throws himself on the ground, but that's another topic for another day. Anyway, so, you know, Claxton steps over him, and, you know, he gets a little shot towards the nuts, not exactly in the nuts, but towards the nuts by Joel Embiid, takes a foot to the groin, we'll call it that. So Claxton gets hit, falls to the ground as well. So they review it, and I'm thinking they're going to call a flagrant 1. That seems to make the most sense. So in a vacuum, to me, I think that's a flagrant 1. So I do think the call was right. Here's my problem. The Draymond Green thing, where he gets suspended for an entire game, what Embiid did tonight was worse than what Draymond did, in my opinion. I don't even think it's comparable, because at least with Draymond, he had his leg wrapped and like nowhere else to step, and like there's a reason for it. Yeah, he might have stepped on Sabonis with a bit more force than he needed to, but in this particular case, Embiid, other than being provoked by what Claxton did, had no reason to raise his foot and kick Claxton near the groin area. That was totally on him. So it's a flagrant 1, and it pissed me off even more when James Harden got ejected, because what Harden did was not even like close to what Embiid did. And it's like, okay, well, at least you threw out one of those guys, but I would much rather have him beat out the game. So, you know, Harden does like a little punch on a step-back move, and it gets Royce ONeill in the groin area. And I'm thinking, like, it might be a flagrant 1. Then they say flagrant 2, and that made no sense. I mean, the officiating, it was bad for both sides, I'll be honest, but I think the Nets got hosed in the first, like, 3 quarters. It was bad. I wrote down some calls that were missed that I think probably could have changed this game. I mean, the Embiid flagrant one, that could have been a flagrant two. Shaquille O'Neal, Charles Barkley said the same thing. I saw a lot of people on Twitter saying that he should have been tossed from the game, but there was the Royce ONeill loose ball foul on PJ Tucker, and on that loose ball foul, quote unquote, he did not even touch PJ Tucker. Tucker dove for the ball and fell to the ground, so maybe from the ref's vantage point, it looked like he pushed him to the ground, but it was a completely clean play by Royce ONeill, and it stopped the Nets break. It would have been 2 points easily. Royce would have dunked it the other way. So that's 2 points taken off the board. Then there was that play when Cam Thomas, who finally freaking played, and we'll get to Cam Thomas playing in the first half, and Joe freaking Harris playing in the third quarter later, which still pisses me off. But Cam Thomas made a great play coming from the weak side defensively to swipe the ball away. The ball, not his hand, the ball away from Joel Embiid. And of course they call it foul. And they didn't show the replay on TNT, but I had the Yes Network broadcast on as well. They showed a great angle of Cam Thomas not even hitting any part of Embiid's hand, getting all ball. And the ball went right to Dinwiddie. He would have passed it up to Cam Thomas for an easy dunk. Another 2 points. That's 4 points off the board based on terrible calls. There was the play, I think, in the third quarter where Mikal Bridges was going to his right. He was stripped by Maxey. The ball goes out of bounds, and then somehow the Sixers get possession. And it didn't even hit off Bridges' knee or anything like that. It was just hit out of bounds. And Sixers retain possession. Or not retain, they get possession somehow. So that's another missed call right there. Then there was the play where Embiid knocks, it was Claxton on Embiid. Claxton knocks the ball towards half court. Claxton and Embiid are chasing it down. Embiid gives Claxton a shove with his forearm into like the first row, and Claxton ends up in the seats, and no foul is called. No loose ball foul is called. And there's none of it made sense. I mean, I know that Embiid had the 5 fouls, and I think he got away with a couple. He probably had 7 fouls tonight if you think about it, but yeah, there were missed calls in this game that definitely screwed the Nets over. I'm sure some calls were missed for Philly as well, but I just know those calls in particular just really screwed the Nets over in the first 3 quarters. I mean, maybe in the fourth quarter, things were a bit, more favorable for the Nets, but I'm not going to forget what happened the first 3 quarters. The officiating was definitely not favoring Brooklyn in that time. So we'll go over the individual performances as we always do. DFS played 36 minutes. He was 1 of 4, 9 rebounds actually, 1 assist. He made the 1-3. That 1-3 he missed, by the way, it was that crazy ass possession where the ball went around the rim like 3 times and went out on a 3-point attempt, and then Bridges got a steal, and I think it led to a Cam Johnson missed 3. It was a wild possession. So yeah, that was crazy, but DFS had some nice defensive possessions, but didn't do much offensively, only 3 points. Cameron Johnson had a quiet 17. He was 6 of 12, 2 of 5 from 3. He had 5 rebounds, 4 assists. He continues to play very well in a contract year, so good for him. Played 44 minutes, by the way. Mikal Bridges played 43. He was 9 of 26, so not good efficiency there. 4 of 7 from 3, that's better. 4 of 4 at the line, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, had 26 total. Nick Claxton was a plus 13. That led the team, and I really do believe if Claxton stayed in that game, the Nets probably win that game. I think Claxton was so pivotal in this game. He was playing so well. 28 minutes, 18 points, a plus 13 once again. Only 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. Did not have a block. Was 8 of 9 shooting. He was so impactful. 2 of 3 at the line. And I understand why Claxton got thrown out, but it was such a soft call. I mean, he literally dunks, it wasn't a clean dunk, but he basically dunks over Embiid, and he's fired up. Like these guys have been going at it. I mean, Embiid's definitely gotten the better of him, no doubt about it. And Claxton just looks at him and flexes a bit, not in his face. I mean, Embiid's probably 7-8 feet away from him, and he stares him down, does like a little flex. And of course gets a technical and didn't say a word, by the way. It's not like Claxton, dunked on him and cursed him out and flexed. He just looked at him and did like a small little flex, and the refs throw him out. And like, I get it. You don't want things to boil over and turn into like a big brawl. Like, they don't want that to happen. But like, it's such a soft call for the playoffs. And And once again, I do think Claxton getting out of this game, and I think, what was it, the late or the early fourth quarter, late third, one or the other, that happening screwed them over. So that was rough to see. But Claxton did play very well overall. Spencer Dinwiddie, 42 minutes, 5 of 12, 2 of 4 from 3. I can't stand him anymore. I mean, it was the Spencer Dinwiddie reunion. It was cool at first, and like until the playoffs happened, I was fine with him. But these 3 games, I mean, he had his moments today. I don't want to make it sound like Dinwiddie was garbage today. He was 8 of 10 at the line, did miss a big free throw late in this game. That could have cut it to a 2-point game, but it stayed at 3. But he's had way too many bad moments. I mean, even like with the game on the line, I think they were down 2 at that point. He decides to, kind of rush things and go for a layup. He gets blocked by Embiid. And at that point, like, give the ball to someone like Mikal Bridges. Like, you should not be taking the last shot. You have shown nothing in this series to make us believe that you should be taking the last shot. And I was not a fan of that whatsoever. He rushed it. He gets blocked, and it was a clean block. I mean, of course, Dinwiddie was begging for a goaltend, but it was a clean block from what I saw. But, yeah, just, I don't know. I was very disappointed. I said last video I expected much better from Dinwiddie. It was a bit better today, but still, like, I don't know. I expected more, but had 20 points, so it wasn't the worst game from him. But it's for the whole 3 games overall, Dinwiddie has been really bad. Royce ONeill was a minus 19, worst on the team. He played 30 minutes, was 1 of 5 from 3, 2 of 7 overall, 6 rebounds, 1 assist. He had some good moments on Joel Embiid after the stupid Nick Claxton ejection. He was their center for a bit. He drew the charge, which got Embiid his 5th foul. I think he may have gotten him his 4th foul, too, on the same type of play. I forget. But, yeah, Royce ONeill defensively had some moments that I was like, all right, that was good. But offensively, just could not make the big shots. 1 of 5 from 3. And he had some bricks. Some of those missed threes were bad. Like, oh, my God, they almost got, like, caught between the rim and the backboard. The wedgie, as Iron Eagle calls it. So, yeah, Royce ONeill was just, I don't know. And then, of course, that last pass he made on the inbound where I don't know why he's inbounding the ball. Like, I would much rather trust like a Cam Johnson type guy, or I don't know, even like a Dinwiddie or something. Like, I would rather trust somebody like that. I feel like Royce ONeill is not the best guy to inbound the ball at that point, but it is what it is. Joe Harris. Oh, Joe Harris, why? He can't, like, I saw him at the scorers table, and I'm like, do my eyes deceive me? Like, there is no way Joe Harris is coming in this game right now. And, like, they finally played Cam Thomas, and, like, he looked okay. He definitely was terrible the first 2 minutes, but Cam Thomas started to settle in and looked a bit better. And in the second half, they don't go to him at all. And Joe Harris played 4 minutes, was 0 of 3 from 3. They were all very good looks. They would have been momentum-shifting threes. And as usual, Joseph Harris comes up small in the playoffs every single time. Anytime you need that man to make a big shot in the playoffs, he ain't giving it to you. So I don't know why they continue to go back to him, why they expect something different to happen. It's not going to happen. So Joe went 0 of 3 from 3. He got his ankles broken, but right before that they called a travel, so it didn't count. I mean, Joe Harris is terrible. I'm sorry to say it. I just don't want him anywhere near this team next year. It sucks. He's damaged goods. The botched ankle surgery, probably ruined his career, but the man can stand and shoot in the regular season, but anytime it gets down to the playoffs, he's useless. So there's no point in having Joe Harris here anymore. Day'Ron Sharpe played 2 minutes, nothing to say there. He did have a pretty hard, it wasn't a foul, but it was a play where he kind of dragged Embiid to the ground, so that was like one of the maybe couple times Embiid fell, and it actually, did make sense. And then Cam Thomas played 11 minutes, 3 of 6, 0 of 2 from 3. He was a minus 9. And I did notice Cam Thomas was struggling defensively. I don't think it cost him outside of like one play, because I know that one play Tobias Harris had him like near the right block, and he completely just went by him. He just bodied him, went through his chest, and it was an easy bucket for Tobias Harris. So, yeah, I mean, look, Cam Thomas gave you some spark offensively, made a really nice step back on James Harden, top of the key, but I don't know, he was not adding anything defensively. I like him over Joe Harris by a mile. Like, I don't know why in that third quarter you couldn't put Cam Thomas over Joe Harris. I feel like Cam Thomas at least would have given you a better shot to make those threes. I know Joe Harris is a better three-point shooter than Cam Thomas, but once again in the playoffs, it's a different story. So I don't know why they continue to go in that direction with Joe, but at this point, it doesn't matter. Season's over. We'll look at the team stats. We'll look at the Sixers actually real quick and see who killed them tonight. I mean, Tyrese Maxey, hats off to him. He was so clutch, so good in the first half. Then he was like terrible in like the third quarter and then most of the fourth quarter, I feel like. Then like the last half of the fourth quarter, last couple minutes at least, he was just difference maker, making big shots. I think he scored 10 straight for Philly at one point. Maxey was awesome. So, yeah, definitely a great game by him. Joel Embiid wasn't doing much. He was 5 of 13, 14 points, 10 rebounds. I mean, he did make some really nice passes, had 2 blocks, the huge block at the end. But they did a good job on him. And, of course, it led to some other guys getting open. But I thought for the most part, they did a very good job on Joel Embiid, probably their best game against him in the series. So he did have a double-double technically, but this is an MVP who shot 5 of 13 and only made 4 free throws out of 5. So, yeah, it could have been a lot worse. Harden played pretty well when he was in there, had 21 points. He had 4 assists as well. But Harden was definitely getting exposed defensively. I don't know why they did not attack him more and even Joel Embiid more because, once again, Embiid was clearly hobbled. There were times he was struggling to walk, and Harden had times where he was getting beat off the dribble by Dinwiddie and Mikal Bridges, and for some reason the Nets were not attacking them enough. I don't know why they weren't going to that more, but they didn't, so it is what it is. You kind of chalk that one up to bad coaching, and we're kind of used to that by now. Tobias Harris is continuing to make an impact. He had 15 points on 6 of 13. So, yeah, Melton was 2 of 4 from 3, had 13 points. He actually had a plus 24. He led them with a plus 24. That's awesome. But he had a couple of big dunks, I think, too. So he was great for Philly. Team stats. Let's go see what happened here in the team stat department. Field goal percentage-wise, the Sixers only took 3 more shots, but they did make more. They made 6 more shots than Brooklyn. Sixers shot 48%. Nets shot 43%. Nets made 10 threes out of 30. Sixers made 13 threes out of 31. Free throws. The Nets actually made 10 more free throws, so that's pretty interesting. You have not seen that yet in the series. This is the first time in the series the Nets have a better free throw percentage than the Sixers as well. Rebounding, another issue in this entire series. Philly out-rebounded Brooklyn by 12, had 11 offensive rebounds to Brooklyn's 8. The Nets had some nice offensive rebounds. I think DFS maybe had a couple, and I think Royce may have had one. But, yeah, we saw some good offensive rebounds. What else? I mean, Brooklyn had 7 more assists, and it's crazy. I mean, Philly only had 15 assists. I mean, that's not much at all. Total turnovers, the Sixers had 5 more. Fast break points, the Nets had 3 more. Points in the paint, Sixers only had 6 more. I mean, it was a close game, and they really should have won this. And I'll admit at halftime I was wrong. I thought this game was going to be over, like, for sure. Like, I thought Philly would come out the locker room and blow them out. I was not expecting a good Nets third quarter, but they gave it their all. And in the third quarter, they outscored them 35-18. I mean, it was a great third quarter. Then in the fourth, they completely shit the bed to no one's surprise. They get outscored 26-15 in the fourth quarter. So all the Nets had to do was play an average fourth quarter, and they would have won this game. And I'm sure a lot of that correlates with Claxton getting thrown out. And it is what it is. I think it's a soft call. Once again, it should not have been called by the refs, but we just got to deal with that. But yeah, I mean, it's just so annoying that this team could not close this game out. It's a shame, honestly. Like the crowd was super into it. I was not expecting the crowd to be that much into it, but they were. You can definitely tell they were making a difference out there, and to have that 5-point lead and to lose the game like that was just, it was stupid. Like, they just shot themselves in the foot over and over again. And between the Dinwiddie rushed layup that got blocked by Embiid and the missed inbound pass by Royce ONeill, I mean, they just completely, once again, shot themselves in the foot when they shouldn't have. And this game it should have been over. I mean, I'm trying to look at when the Nets were up 5 in this game. There was, I think, 2 minutes to go. They went up 3 here. Yeah, so it was the play when Mikal Bridges got the steal went coast to coast, missed the layup, and then Royce ONeill had that great tip back with 2 minutes, 15 seconds to go. And then Maxey comes down, makes a three, makes it a 2-point game. Maxey makes a two, ties the game. I mean, yeah, the Nets just don't have a closer. I mean, there are times where Mikal Bridges has been a closer and has made some really nice shots towards the end of games, but they don't have a natural closer. We were lucky to have a Kyrie and Kevin Durant for a while. You know, both guys have made some clutch shots as Brooklyn Nets, but, you know, Dinwiddie had his moments in the past with the Nets, his first stint, but this time around he has not really been that clutch. As I said, Mikal's had his moments, but they don't have a natural closer. And Dinwiddie missing that free throw down 99-97, that was a killer as well. And, you know, Dinwiddie went for the fast layup next possession, got blocked, and that's pretty much the game. So, yeah, I mean, it sucks. So, I don't know what else to say about this team. They have caused us too much pain the past 2 years, but we are very much used to it at this point. We'll probably react to Game 4 whenever that ends. I'll probably watch that. I think it's a 1 o'clock game on Saturday, so at least it's early. Get that shit over with. I don't feel like watching this team anymore. I mean, I've been ready for the offseason for a while. Honestly, I think a lot of Nets fans have been. Ever since the trades happened, we kind of knew, like, okay, they're not in this to win the championship anymore. Yeah, it's Saturday, 1 o'clock. So, yeah, at least we'll get through this pretty quickly, hopefully. I think, you know, I guess for pride reasons, you would like to win a game and not get swept again, but a part of me, like, I think either outcome I'm fine with, because, like, for pride reasons, you don't want to get swept again, but at the same time, I want this season over as soon as possible. So, I should mention, Damian Lillard was courtside at this game, so I don't know why. Maybe, you know, he has said he's a fan of Mikal Bridges. I don't know if they have, like, some type of friendship or whatever it was, but pretty interesting. You know, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but we'll talk about the potential offseason moves, obviously. And personally, I'm not a big fan of the Nets getting Lillard. I think that contract in his late 30s is pretty dangerous to play with, especially for a guy who's been injured the past few years. But we'll touch on that stuff in the offseason. Anyway, that's going to do it. A very frustrating game. I was sitting here in disbelief, just like ripping my hair out, basically, because, like, how do you lose that freaking game? But, yeah, I should not be surprised by now. But, yeah, the basketball gods, they probably wanted us to win this game. The Nets said, nah, we're good. So, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll talk after Game 4. And it was a good season. Not really.